Well, let's start it off with you talk about the big dogs being on campus, the biggest dog in the yard in terms of where he's ranked, Decoran Moore. I know Mike Roach caught up with Decoran after the official visit. I think CB was asking, I forget who asked it, is it normal to have 11 family members on a visit? Decorian's whole family came out, Jordan. It was a big turnout. Shocker. He said the visit went great, gave Texas high marks. If you go read the interview he did with Mike, I'm guessing Jordan, Texas probably couldn't have done much more other than, I don't know, just giving Decoran a big old bag of money to get him to come to campus. I mean, within legal means, they pretty much did everything they could, pull out all the stops to sway Decoran Moore over the weekend.
Yeah, they did. And I mean, there's nothing really new that I can say for his recruitment.
Yeah.
I feel like we've covered it top to bottom from the jump. And I mean, going back to when he committed to LSU in August, I literally wrote on our site, this changes absolutely nothing, and we still expect him, come signing day. So not a ton new, but, I think they did top to bottom a phenomenal job with him and his family this weekend. It's well documented that majority of his family, more specifically on his mom's side, is, from the city of Austin. He's got a couple cousins. I actually know a couple of his cousins at OBJ. So, there's a lot of family in Austin, and not only does that family live in Austin, a few of them went to Texas. His aunt went to Texas. I was told of another family member who attended and graduated the school, but I don't want to mess up whatever the actual role in the family relationship is there, because I forget. It might have been a cousin or something. But there's a lot of family in Austin, and in talking to someone close to Moore, nothing really new as far as where he's expected to end up. It remains Texas, but
yeah,
he has a firm cutoff date. His mom said at Under Armour Dallas, when he was still committed to LSU, that whatever final decision it's going to be is going to be made before his senior year. I'm not sure when the first day of school is for Duncanville, but I know most schools are now starting around like August 15th, so they can get them out of school in May at some time.
Yeah.
So I would be very surprised if Decoran Moore isn't committed to Texas by mid-August. I think it wouldn't surprise me if I got a Hayes Fawcett notification right now and it was Decoran Moore. And if it happens, we got stories for days, right? Because this is something that's been anticipated for a long, long, long time. So it's something that is kind of new, though. Speaking to someone close to the family, a lot of people around him obviously want Texas, but those people are kind of starting to be like, hey, can we just go ahead and get this thing out of the way? You know what I mean? So they're still going to go to Oregon this upcoming weekend. But I do think I don't know necessarily if burnt out is the right word, but I think him and those around him are kind of getting a little exhausted with the process, and they already know what they want to do.
Burnout's an appropriate word. Yeah, because I think as long as he's been a recruitable prospect, you go back to his freshman year. I mean, didn't he? I may be thinking about somebody else, but I want to say, didn't Decoran get his first offer from somebody when he was in the 8th grade, going into his freshman year? It's been a long recruitment for him and for his family, and I think at this point, I'd compare it to that point, on a flight when you're about to land and you have to stow away your electronics again, and you're just kind of circling the airport waiting for clearance to land. It's like that. You're just antsy. You're just ready to get off the plane and get to your destination. So that's probably just where him and his family are now. Burnout's a good way to put it, Jordan. You're just ready to get it over with.
Yeah, but that's pretty much a Decoran Moore update. I know some folks might
to back you up. Go read that story from Mike. Short of Michael Huff giving Decoran the keys to the Lambo and being like, here you go. I don't know if Texas could have done anything. I don't know if the visit could have gone any better for Texas.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. I don't think I've ever seen more family or more guests accompany an official or unofficial visitor at Texas in my life. So I think they did a great job. What the hell?
You good?
Yeah, my music just started playing for some reason. I don't know. Interesting Monday.
Dispatches coming in.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna hit on, before we get into another one, I'm gonna hit on this because I think we might forget.
Okay.
So Kotti Armstrong committed to Texas A&M on Friday. It was actually the second day of his official visit. What I've noticed with A&M, a few other schools, what they do, they'll have some kids come in Thursday through Saturday and then the other half Friday through Sunday. So I'm not sure how long that's really been going on, but I think it is kind of a smart tactic because it gives, staffs more one-on-one time with kids more so. And I think it might feel like there's less kids on campus too at different parts since those groups are separated. But Kotti committed to A&M on the second day of his official visit. He had always told media, even people at Jasper had always told us, like, this is going to go till the fall. And whenever people from Jasper would say that, it's like they would, like, roll their eyes because they knew it would be a roller coaster going into the fall.
Mm-hmm.
We all did too. Kotti Armstrong is a really fun prospect, but not super easy to get a hold of. Not super easy to get info on either, consistent info. So I'll be honest, we always anticipated it coming down to Texas or Texas A&M. At different times throughout this year, I've leaned Texas. At different times, I've leaned A&M. I was pretty neutral Friday night. And we found out probably, I think, a couple minutes before the Hayes Fawcett post or whatever. But, yeah, I mean, great get for A&M. Ceiling through the roof. He's a 6'6", 240-pound alien from, the sticks of East Texas, as I call him. So it's a great get for him. Now, as far as what the tight end picture looks like for Texas, Nick Townsend's coming in this weekend. They had Caleb Edwards June 7th through 9th, and then Michael Terry is also kind of could maybe end up being a tight end, maybe. I think long term, I think he'd be better off if he were to come to Texas. I think for his NFL future and just helping the team out, I think he would be more impactful as kind of an offensive Swiss Army knife rather than a tight end. He just doesn't – he could have a tight end body, but if he is, he's a Kyle Pitts type of tight end, right? But regardless, he would need to put weight on him to play that position. He's 6'3", 210 pounds, and has run 10.71. He's not running 10.71 if you put 20 pounds of muscle on him. He's just not. He's not moving the same either. So that's going to be really interesting what ends up happening with Michael Terry. I need to check in with the source after coming out of this A&M visit he took this past weekend. But Texas is in a good spot for him regardless. Unless A&M truly pulled a rabbit out of their ass, then, the Texas is definitely still the number one or number two in his recruitment, I'd say. Nick Townsend coming in this weekend is incredibly important. I don't want to take anything away from Caleb Edwards, but he is not the same level of talent or prospect as Nick Townsend or Kotti, at least in my opinion.
Yeah.
Nick Townsend is yes, he's ranked however many spots behind Kotti. He is just as elite of a prospect. He is 6'3", 240 and ran 10.8 at 235 this spring. That is not normal. He also is a great defensive player. Texas had talked to him this spring about, hey, if you want to come here, we would let you play a linebacker or tight end. It'd be up to you. And he liked that because I don't want to say it gives him more opportunity to potentially mess up in his development, but it does because you can just switch to the other side of the field. And whereas just as special of an athlete like he is, that can work. So I think he could be a damn good tight end. I do think, though, with the dominoes falling with Kotti Armstrong and Caleb Edwards Caleb Edwards' recruitment there's a long way to go in that. Besides Texas, he OV'd to, I believe, Georgia, Alabama, Auburn, UCLA, Oregon, and I think USC too. He's getting around. That one is it's just there's a long way to go in that one.
I'm checking to see if you missed one with Caleb Edwards. So Caleb Edwards, I'm trying to go in chronological order. Okay, so for Caleb Edwards, the official visits, May 10th, he was at UCLA, which that's not, that's a regional trip for him. Washington on May 31st, Texas June 7th. He's actually left Texas and went to Auburn. Was at Auburn June 10th. Was at Alabama this last weekend, and then on the 21st, what is it? That's Friday. I guess he'll be at Oregon.
Yeah, so I didn't get it completely right, but he's getting around. There's a long way to go in that one. And he's only been to Texas twice, or he's been to all those other schools, I believe at least twice, if not more. So Nick Townsend is who they're going to have a higher shot at if they push. I firmly believe that. I also think with Townsend coming into this weekend, Bama is in front of Texas. Like that is true. But it is still a very winnable recruitment for Texas. At Alabama, he really likes DeBoer's offense. He likes how they get the ball to tight end. He likes DeBoer's history with tight ends. Also, like, even though Nick Saban isn't there anymore, Alabama's a pretty cool place, man. They have a lot of national championship rings. Have sent a lot of guys D1 or not D1 to the league. And you know, it still is an attractive place, even without the greatest of all time still coaching there. So that being said, like, that is the favorite right now. I'd say Texas is in second place going into the weekend. My source for Townsend was very adamant. A&M was way behind Alabama and Texas. And then, you know, with him being on campus with Kotti Armstrong committing, I can't imagine that helped A&M's chances with him either. So
yeah.
I think
It's interesting, Jordan, when you look at it with Michael Terry and Nick Town. Let's throw Michael Terry in this discussion too, if we're talking about jumbo athletes / tight ends and just putting them all together. Because that tight end, if you're an elite guy, you're a move guy anyway. Could it be like with the 3 offensive tackles? And we'll get to Lamar Rodgers here in a minute, but could it be like with the 3 offensive tackles where at the end of the day, all 3 of them are probably going to end up going to different schools?
I don't know. I think Terry and Townsend could both very well end up at Texas for sure.
Okay. So similar to the
like
tackles,
that.
you think if it's 2 going to the same school, then Texas is probably that same school.
Yeah. So if like Ty Haywood is not coming to Texas, he doesn't even have an OV booked. We never even have him technically visiting Texas ever during his recruitment. He was supposed to be at the junior day, no showed. He said another random, like, unofficial that he just didn't show up to. And then at the Texas relays, like, usually Texas will get the kids they want to talk to walk across the street. He did not walk across the street. So we never had Haywood visiting. He is just not going to Texas. Fasusi, we feel pretty good he's going to end up at Texas. So that being said, like, if 2 of them are going to end up at the same school, the one that would make that happen is Lamont. But I'm still leaning towards the field versus Texas for his recruitment.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, let's. I know we talked a ton of Michael Terry in the last week, 2 weeks, but I just think it's worth mentioning. You know, Texas is really, and I have no reason to doubt what Sark and company have told the family, but if they're really open to playing any position and really just, hey, get here and we'll figure it out type thing, I'm kind of with you. I think they could basically make him, as athletic as he is, they could basically maybe make him a souped up version of Jatavian Sanders, because I don't know as a move tight end, because Sark wants a move guy. He wants an inline guy. Michael Terry's clearly not that inline guy. You're wasting him if you're making him an inline guy. But at that move guy, Kyle Pitts might be a good comp, Jordan, because Sark is, I know Sark has never had a guy like that at tight end. Even as good as JT was, he's not, we talked about, he's not like a freak athlete. And I think that came out through the combine and the pro day. But Michael Terry is, you know, he would test really well at one of those deals. And all the things you can do with that guy, hell, you really can. He's a move guy. You can flex him. You can split him out wide. You can put him in the backfield. There's so many, like, it's almost endless what you can do, the kind of versatility you can have with him. And as we move more into this era of positionless football, man, that's the kind of guy, don't pigeonhole him into a spot. Just give him a spot to have a title and then do whatever the hell you need to do with him on a given day. Yeah.
And Kyle Pitts is who I think he resembles the most if he's going to be a tight end. And that's largely just because Kyle Pitts was a receiver playing tight end. He was a tight end size receiver playing tight end. Yeah. I think that would kind of be similar to Terry. Like, tight ends did not move and get in and out of breaks and aren't nearly as smooth as kind of how Terry moves. And Antoine also made a great point. He does have some former PWO teammates that are in Austin. I believe it was when he went to the spring game, he posted some photos of them. Or it might have been a game last fall. But he's put them on his Twitter before. But definitely it is an important data point for sure.